Doctors want you sick. Lawyers want you in trouble. Only thieves want your success. Greetings, mortals. I am your host, Simeon. And under the cover of night, beneath the moon's watchful eye, you have skulked your way into what some only whisper of, the Library of Gnosis. Welcome, thief. Thieves in ancient Greece often venerated Hermes, as he was the patron of their craft. He embodied wit, agility, and the art of vanishing unpunished. The ability to get away with it. All qualities admired by those living on the edge of the law. Hermes' role in gambling and good luck meant that they often invoked him for luck, success, and protection in their criminal endeavors. Hermes, the divine trickster, is the archetype of the sacred thief. He is not a thief in the vulgar sense. He doesn't steal for greed. He steals to reveal. Not merely for gain, but as an act of creative disruption, movement, and transformation. He is the god who crosses boundaries between heaven and earth, life and death, mortal and divine, known and unknown. His theft is not wrong. It is a sacred act. From the moment of his birth, when he stole Apollo's cattle and cleverly disguised his tracks, Hermes announced himself as a force of subversion and reinvention. He doesn't destroy the system. He rearranges its logic. Unlike the priest who safeguards tradition, or the judge who maintains order, Hermes breaks into the temple and swaps the scrolls. He is the patron of merchants, gamblers, liars, poets, and travelers. All those who operate in liminal spaces, in between certainty and chaos. His theft is not immoral, but initiatory. In stealing, Hermes awakens potential. He makes the stagnant flow. Everything Hermes thieves, he later sacrifices to the gods. Rafael Lopez Pedraza, Hermes and his children. Hermes doesn't want your submission. He wants your agility. He doesn't care for obedience or rules. He values wit, adaptability, and the courage to trespass into forbidden realms. Just as he once led souls through the underworld as a psychopomp, Hermes leads the cunning through systems of power and illusion. He gifts not wealth, but the knowledge of how to move through locked doors and unseen thresholds. Take note of how Hermes is the god of thieves, not robbers. Because robbers take by force what thieves take by guile. Hermes, as the god of thieves and not robbers, is a distinction that is critical to his character. Robbers use brute force, doors kicked in, blades drawn, fear invoked. But thieves? They slip through cracks, read the room, mimic the system, and take what they need without raising alarms. In his role as a thief, Hermes might walk out with your gold in hand while you thank him for his friendly advice. He teaches that intelligence is far more powerful than authority, and that bending the rules, not breaking them with force, is the real art. Hermes is the one who steals fire without burning the house down, who borrows the sacred and gives it back with added meaning. That's why the mythic Hermes becomes the god of alchemy, of language, of commerce. All things that depend on ambiguity, persuasion, and subtle shifts of value. He moves in the gray areas, in the margins where rules blur. Speaking about his role as the god of alchemy, which is often called the Hermetic art. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the first trial Harry meets on his quest to obtain the fabled stone is a three-headed guard dog, which he lulls to sleep by playing an instrument gifted to him. This mirrors Orpheus' journey to the underworld in Greek mythology, where he plays his lyre so beautifully that Cerberus, the terrifying three-headed hound of Hades, lets him pass without resistance. Now, as the god of shepherds, Hermes Kriophoros, the good shepherd, Hermes is intimately familiar with sheepdogs, and in turn, hounds in general, which, of course, also includes guard dogs. Very practical knowledge for a thief, I must say. In practical terms, dogs are the natural enemy of thieves. That Hermes succeeds in spite of them suggests that he understands them, their instincts, their triggers, and how to bypass them. This would make him not just a trickster of men and gods, but also a manipulator of nature's guardians. He leads souls into the underworld, which is guarded, symbolically and mythologically, by fierce entities like Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of Hades. Hermes doesn't fight Cerberus, he passes him. This makes him, implicitly, the one who knows the tricks, the passwords, the gestures that make even the fiercest watchdogs let him through. This positions him as someone with power over the guardians of boundaries, including dogs as symbols of vigilance. Now, to tie all this together, Hermes, as an infant, kills a tortoise and uses its shell, along with sheep guts, to craft the first lyre. He then uses this lyre to charm Apollo after committing his first act of theft, the theft of Apollo's cattle, turning what should have been divine wrath into laughter and reconciliation. Hermes then gives the lyre to Apollo, who becomes its most famous player in myth. Later, Orpheus, a descendant of Apollo, becomes the master of this very same instrument, the lyre, and uses it to entrance the guard dog Cerberus in his quest through the underworld, tying it all together full circle. The lyre that lulled Cerberus into a trance was in Orpheus' hand, but Hermes through dance. For it was Hermes who strung that first shell with sinew stolen, crafting from death an instrument of bone and breath, a key of passage into the realm of the dead. Orpheus may have sung, but Hermes wrote the first note. So yes, doctors want you sick, lawyers want you in trouble, but sly Hermes, the sacred thief, wants you to transcend in the end. And when you do, Hermes is already waiting on the other side, smiling and tipping his hat to your success and a highest well done. Now, as my poetic words entrance, we hail Hermes, the god of liars and thieves, for how can you be sure anything I've just said is true? When two Zen masters meet each other on the road, they need no introduction. Thieves recognize each other instantly. Alan W. Watts. Now, this broadcast is nearing its death, as we travel from life to death, beginning to end. Right. Only thieves want your success, so I know you made it this far. If you value and enjoy the content I produce, then consider becoming a member, either here on YouTube or on Patreon, to support my hard work. Or consider giving a one-time donation to aid me on my quest to spread Hermetic wisdom. Now, fellow scoundrel, I will take my leave. I will see you, yes, specifically you listening, in the next one, mortal. Fare thee well.